Hello, everyone. I thought I would do a response video. I don't think I've ever done this before. I have not done this before. So I beg your indulgence. But there was this video that came up in my X feed that got my attention. And I thought I would just throw a few things at everybody and maybe get your thoughts about how I answer this video. I'm going to add some things that perhaps you've not heard of. It doesn't matter. So tell me what you think. I'll share my screen and we'll begin. So. Okay, here we go.
It's in the book. It's in the book. He is in the book. Preaching straight Bible. Hold up. Let me check one more time. Yeah, he's still right.
It's quite unfortunate that I did not bring crayons today to explain this, but I want to go through a little bit of what he said there. First and foremost, he said that Noah had to go through the waters. No, Noah was in an ark to actually keep him out of the waters. Moses had to go through the waters. No, God literally cleared the path and dried the ground so that Moses and the rest of the Jews did not actually have to go into the water. They crossed on dry land. Jesus went through the waters. No, Jesus was baptized in water. He didn't go through the waters. He walked atop waters. He went into the water willingly to be baptized because Jesus is the beautiful God who leads by example.
Okay. I'll stop it there. First, I think this is just semantics, but if I was to look at this in where it talks about Noah. Noah, if you look at the text, especially in Greek, that's in 2 Peter, there is a very, very interesting thing here that I wish he would have stuck to. And that is, sorry about all the scrolling here, but it talks about in the days of Noah during building the ark, in which a few 8 persons were saved through water. So if you look at that, 1 Peter 3:20, if you look in that in Greek, and so this is my challenge back, it's 1 Peter 3:20. By the way, you're going to find out very quickly, I am not and have never been a chapter and verse guy, so you'll have to be patient with me. But in 3:20, that is a very explicit use of the word through. And that is here. These which a few, that is 8 so were saved. Dia, through water. Dia basically means through. Or by. Or because of so the most common is through. So I don't know why he said not through water. I think it's right in the text. So his job is to actually deal with the text as it stands and not try to explain it away and pretend that it's not there. So even though Noah did float above the evil in the water, it wasn't, but yet at the same time, it is through water. It is by the means of water that Noah was saved. So but that's not what I wanted to talk about. This is what I really want to talk about. Let's just keep playing.
Thus a man be born of water and the Spirit. Okay, I love when people would quote that out of context, and the reason why is because if you just read a little bit, just a little bit, then it shows you that it's not talking about water baptism. But
remember what he says about context. Okay.
People they don't want to agree with that. They don't want to actually read the text, so they quote it out of context.
Let's see what happens.
And they pervert it to support their works-based heresy.
Let's see what happens.
Watch this. Jesus answered and said to him, "Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born again."
Stop right there. So let's go to the exact text, and we will go. This one I know. This is in John 3. And this is exactly what he's talking about. So this is with Nicodemus. And unless one is, now in this RSV, this is RSV translation, it says born anew. But if you click this, it says, or from above. Truthfully, if you look at the word in Greek, the best translation of that is actually from above. And I'm going to show you something today that perhaps you're not prepared for. But that's why I invited you on to have a look at this. Let's have a look at John 3. And that's verse specifically. Sorry about that, everybody. Oh, boy. I'm getting myself into trouble here. I apologize, everybody. John 3. And so he says, unless you're born anew, that's verse 3. What did I tell you? I'm not a chapter and verse person. So this is the pain you have to go through to get to the answer for me. Unless you are born, so it says from above. The issue is the word anothen, which actually is the ano means above. Okay, so it's an adverb, this anothen, and that's probably it's anothen because it's let's see here, what form is it? It's probably because it's a what's his adverb? But there's a way of writing these things. But ano means above. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, now let's just play a little bit more of this video and see what he says.
He cannot see the kingdom of God. Now, I want you to just think about that. What does it mean to be born again? Would the again imply a second time?
Okay.
We'll see. Because right here, Nicodemus says to him, how can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter a second time into his mother's womb?
So that's how Nicodemus heard it. Okay. So there's three possibilities. There's again, anew, and above. Okay. Nicodemus heard again.
And be born. Jesus answered, truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born of water and the Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of God. So look at that. You need to be born again. What's the first time? Water. What's the second time? Spirit. Did you have control over either of those? No.
So his whole premise is based on it being again. But clearly, by Jesus's answer to Nicodemus, he's basically saying, you got it wrong. Because no, because Jesus means above. Okay. Now you may say, well, Father Ron, why would you even say that? Because if it could be one of three things, aren't they equal in force? Are all these three possible? Well, I'm going to show you something that I think speaks to this. And that is, this is what I don't think any of you are prepared for. And I tell you why I say that. It's not because I'm some sort of scriptural guru. I'm not anything like that. But I will say that I struggle very hard to find the meaning of these things within the book itself. I've said this in other videos that if you want to know what Jesus means when he says something in John, you should be trying with all your might to stay within the Gospel of John, because that's where the definitions of the words mostly come from. Mostly. So now, where am I going? So it says here, born anew. Now, let's have a look at something again. This is me, okay? I found this on my own. So you may say, well, Father Ron, that's just not correct. But okay, well, this is my reading. Let's go to John chapter 2. We're going to look at the wedding of Cana. Okay, so what does this have to do with what Nicodemus said? And I know now I got your attention, I bet. And maybe you know this. Maybe I'm the last guy who found this out. I don't know. But I still find it intriguing, even if I'm the final guy in the classroom that finally got it. Even if I'm the guy that's still writing when everybody else is done, this is interesting. So in the wedding of Cana, you have actually you have mentions of water and wine. And by the way, so let's go to Greek here. But don't forget, he says, sorry, I have to go back to the English because I'm so bad at finding things. I wish I was better. He says, unless you're born of water and the Spirit. Because he says here, water and Spirit is verse 5. So let's go to 5. So he says here in verse 5, udatos, that's just basically water. There's nothing special about that. There is other words for water that are used in John that are not udatas. This is very interesting. So keep that for another time. Anyway, so, but in 2, so we'll go back to 2. We have this mention of water. So he says, don't forget, it says here, 6, Jewish, okay, fill in jars with water. So I'll save you the effort. So that's in verse 7. So now we're in 2:7. Okay. So that should be water if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So it's actual water. It's not special water. There you go. Udatas, exactly the same word. But look at, I want to show you this. And they said, and they filled them to the brim. Okay. Oh, so isn't that nice to know? And some of the other translations will do these silly things where they'll say, well, this is like 115 liters and all that stuff each, because basically it says 20 to 30 gallons. And, oh, this is how much. That's completely missing the point, but that's for another discussion. It's it is a huge distraction. And who cares how many liters or gallons it holds? Actually, it makes no difference. In fact, I think the way they make it a distraction when they start saying stuff like that. Regardless, fill it to the brim. Now, so these stone jars are filled to the brim. And by the way, look at this. These stone jars are used for Jewish rites of purification. But the real issue is this, okay? Purification, okay? So that should signal something. That's verse 6. Verse 6 is, now they were stoned according to the Katharisman. If you click on that, you're cleansing. This is what I'm getting at, right? It's for cleansing, okay? And now here's the clincher. This filled to the brim. Look at how this is written in Greek. That's verse 7. Says that fill the jars with water, and they filled them to the. Look at this, ano, and they filled them to the above. Okay, see that? They filled them to the above. They filled it. They filled this stone jars that is for cleansing with water to the above. You see? Now, that's not where it ends, if only. Of course, we know how the story goes. And again, I have a whole lecture coming up on this thing. But regardless, it says they tasted the water now. So they draw it out and took it to the steward. And by the way, this draw out, this draw some out, or it says draw some out. That's a curious word because that's in verse 8. This word is curious because the idea is that you're bailing something. Okay, it's not just drawing water out like this and sipping. You're bailing something. So imagine, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you're interested in this, John 6, not John 6. There is places in John that talk not only about baptism, but I'm going to say specifically about infant baptism. Okay? And this is one of the places. This is one of the places, in my opinion. Okay? So, draw some out and carry it to the master of the feast. They carried it when they tasted the master. And this is another interesting one, which I won't get into right now. The water, wine having become, and that's a perfect participle, which means that it has become something else and it endures. Okay. So isn't this interesting that the water is turned to wine? Okay. Now, if you're Orthodox, you have to know this. That when you are baptized, okay, you become this new creation. And so, but after that, you are fed. After your birth, you are fed with Eucharist. Wine is a short form of Eucharist, okay? It's a short form of Eucharist, but also wine, and again, this is all included in the word wine. The nice thing about the Greek language is it includes a lot of things. It took me this many English words to explain it. But it's all in one word in Greek, okay? wine implies festivity. So here you have baptism and birth from above leading to and being festivity. Okay. So you have a situation in Cana of Galilee, okay, among the Gentiles. Okay, it's in Galilee, right? It's in that's very important. Okay, the mother is there, mother of Jesus is there, okay, right? Sounds like church so far, right? Marriage, we talk about that. Invited to the marriage, so the marriage feast of the Lamb, there you go. And so you have, again, I don't want to get to my next lecture, but the whole idea is you go from a baptismal state to a festive state. You go from a birth from above in water baptism, okay, not anything but that. You go from birth from above to a festive state. And everybody's joining in on this, not just you, not just the baptized. So again, I'm just putting this out there. I'm not going to play the rest of this video because I don't think I need to. I think I've said enough, and I don't like my videos to be too long, but I want, please comment on this. I really would like to know what you think of this. I discovered this on my own, this business of the filling to the brim. I just discovered that on my own, but I will say this. It's number one, it stays within the text. Okay. There is a word connection for sure. This is my reading though. So, but it fits along the lines of the Orthodox understanding of these things. So what's probably, I'm guessing, a little bit surprising is that this marriage feast, I'm going to say, for those who are very, very much aware how, especially the Gospel of John works, it's very much a eschatological gospel. Okay, but I will also say that my opinion is that for the first 9 chapters is very much about baptism and Eucharist. In many places where it even is not even apparent. So, and this is one of them. You have in the wedding of Cana, you have the church, you have baptism, and you have Eucharist, all wrapped up in one. And so I, again, invite your comments, and I hope you enjoyed this, my little, my read on these things. And I invite comments and invite you to return to future videos of this nature. Thanks for joining in. God willing, see you in the next one. Bye for now.